You have your whole body weight on me. Did you just fall off the bed? Good girl. They don't have to be puppies. Get your giraffe your favorite. Oh goodness. Good morning guys and happy Vlogtober day 18. Freya and I are back with another like dog related, puppy related training video for you guys. And while she sits down here chewing her giraffe, we're gonna basically go over socialization because I've been getting tons of questions about it, especially how to socialize your dogs before they're vaccinated. Like what did Freya and I do before she was like 4 months old, before she had all of her vaccines, before she could actually go outside, because we were very strict about that. I did not take her on walks before she was fully vaccinated. She didn't go to dog parks. She didn't meet any other dog other than friends of ours dogs who were adult dogs that we know have been vaccinated, and those playtimes were even in our apartment, so they were very like controlled instances, especially with other dogs. But that doesn't mean that we didn't socialize her, so I kind of wanted to cover that today. But if you're new here, make sure you subscribe down below because I do these kinds of training videos usually on a weekly basis if you are about to get a dog or you have a puppy, or even if you're trying to teach your dog new tricks. They don't have to be puppies. But I've also been doing pup date videos of Freya since we got her at 8 weeks old every month since then, just to kind of keep up on her growth and things that she's learning. I've also done videos before we got her of like dog hauls, so if you like dog content, you can definitely subscribe down below, and you can follow me over on Instagram for of course more pictures and stories and stuff of her literally all the time. Also, before I dive in, I say this at the beginning of all of my training videos, but I am not a dog trainer. I'm not a certified dog trainer, but I did train my dog, and these videos are just meant to be helpful to some of you guys who are wanting the tips and tricks that worked for us. There are thousands of ways to do everything that we're gonna make videos on, but I'm just here to tell you what worked for us and things that I did that helped train Freya. Now let's dive into some of my tips. My first tip is one that I literally already mentioned, but just because your dog is not vaccinated doesn't mean that they can't socialize with other dogs. But the recommendation from my vet at least was that they can socialize with dogs that are adults, so no longer puppies, and have been vaccinated and gotten all of their boosters and all of that, that you are just like 100% sure. So usually those are your friend's dogs. So we had a couple play dates with a coworker of ours who also has an Australian Shepherd, who's very much an adult and stuff, so they were able to play so she could, you know, be around dogs at a young age. We also had it with other coworkers or other family friends, so those are okay. Those all happened inside our apartment, so they were not outside, because that's really what you have to be careful with when your dog is not vaccinated. They cannot be anywhere that other dogs have like gone potty especially, but also just where dogs are like walking around or just heavily trafficked by dogs. So for us living in an apartment, that meant like nowhere outside because dogs go to the bathroom everywhere. So she stayed inside our apartment 24/7 until she was fully vaccinated, but we did do doggy play dates. Now it is really important to socialize your dog with other dogs at a young age. So you kind of hit this like, well, what do I do? Because that prime socialization like time period within their brains and everything is really, really young. And if you wait until they're fully vaccinated, it could have a negative effect on your dog. Not to say that 100% will, but the younger, the better. So you do want to try to schedule play dates with dogs that you know, or adult dogs that have all of their vaccines. They can't go to doggy daycare yet because they're not vaccinated. So you kind of have to work through that. But on the flip side, you can socialize them with so many other things, like literally everything else in the world before they are vaccinated, which is something that we did with Freya. If you've been watching my pup day videos, you know that we would go on basically a socialization activity every single day with her that lasted at least an hour, if not more, back when she was 8 weeks old, and we still do that. To this day though, it's not necessarily like focused on socialization because she is socialized with a lot of things. It's more so like getting her energy out and stuff. So we go to the dog parks or we go on hikes and stuff like that, but as a puppy, an hour a day we would spend socializing her with new things. That could be inside the apartment, but that could also be outside of the apartment. The key to that is when they're a tiny little puppy, we just carried her everywhere. We would take her outside with us on walks. I would take her to work with me to meet my coworkers, but I would just hold her all the time. And that is still socialization for your dog. Your dog does not have to be on the ground running around to be socialized with things. It is just building a positive association. Did you just fall off the bed? Good girl. But it's all about building positive associations with brand new things to them, which to you might not seem like it needs to be done, but literally everything in this world they don't know about. Everything scares them, probably. And even if it doesn't scare them, you should still introduce all of these new things to them at a very young age, because again, like psychologically speaking, a dog's brain is readily adaptable to new things and socialization and like learning all of their schemas and how the world works and what's good and what's bad at a very, very, very young age. So if dogs do not get socialized at a young age, it can be very detrimental to their temperament and how they are around other dogs or people or things. So you want to make sure that you're socializing your dog literally from 8 weeks old. And now I'm going to share with you guys basically the socialization checklist that we did with Freya every single day. I definitely think this checklist helps, so I want to share it with you guys. So I'm gonna like post them on the screen here so you guys can like, I don't know, screenshot them, or honestly like DM me on Instagram and I'll send you the actual photos of it. But there are a ton of different sounds that you should be socializing your dog with. And this is a very good starter list. Again, you can add sounds that are more applicable to you in your life or what your dog is going to be around sound most of the time, but this is like a good everyday sound checklist kind of thing. We would literally take Freya out and hold her by the side of the road and just let her hear cars drive by. If you're on a farm, socialize them with like tractors. If you live in downtown, you're gonna socialize them with sirens. The vacuum cleaner is a big one that dogs hate. So taking the time to actually positively associate all of these things with your dog. Your hair dryer if you do your hair. Fireworks is another big one for dogs. You can take your dog and hold it in your arms and take it to the dog park and never let it play with the other dogs, never put it on the ground. You can just socialize your dog by looking at other dogs and hearing dog sounds. You can also play dogs barking on YouTube or something like that. Like, you can do it from home, but you can also take your dog into the world as long as you're safe about it. But again, you can tailor this to you. For example, I would take Freya with me to work and hang out in the back of the shop so that way she could hear the different sounds that bikes make, because I work in a bike shop and she comes to work with me, and I knew that I would want her to come to work with me, so I needed to socialize her with the different sounds of, you know, working on a bike, washing a bike rolling past her, the sound of the pedals, like just different things like that. And so you can tailor that to you and your lifestyle or whatever you know your dog is going to be around often. Add that to the list. Different places that you should socialize your dog with. And the first two were biggies with Freya. We worked on this so much because she hated the car. But socializing your dog with your car on short car rides, long car rides, just being in the car. There was plenty of socialization sessions that I did with Freya where we literally just sat in the car without it moving. And I would just positively associate the car before we ever started moving because she hated it. And now she does fine and she sleeps. Again, a playground, taking them to a park, taking them downtown, still holding them, you know, walk downtown, walk the streets, walk by patios, go to a quiet road and a busy road. You can take them to different cafes and like hold them in a bag, especially if you have like a small dog, but in a bag while you eat on the patio. If you're near a beach or you know you're gonna take your dog to the lake, like socializing them with sand and stuff like that. And then there's certain objects that you might not think to socialize your dog with. A lot of these are like big triggers for dogs, which we already talked about, kind of like the vacuum and stuff is more of a sound, but even some dogs, if you just get the vacuum out, they're like triggered. Same goes with trash bags. That usually is also the sound, like when you shake it, that's kind of what gets them going. But socializing them with trash bags or plastic bags, Walmart bags, those kinds of crinkly noises, balloons, the broom and the dustpan, so they're not trying to like bite at the broom every time you're trying to clean up after them, pulling and pushing your chair in and out of the desk or in and out of the dining room table, pots and pans, that's usually a good one, like loud noises in general, and those objects, heavy objects, can definitely trigger dogs. And now this next list, she is probably never going to be around sheep, and I don't really know where sheep are at or can be found, so I never socialized her with them. Same thing with horses, but she is socialized with cats because we have a cat, or other household pets you might have if you have like a rabbit or a guinea pig and stuff like that. Different birds, if you live on a farm, like socializing them with chickens. But of course, other animals that you should definitely do is dogs, whether that's like puppies, older dogs, young dogs, dogs that do want to play, dogs that don't want to play, dogs with different play styles. They'll start to learn that, and a lot of the older dogs will typically correct puppies, and that is perfect. They need the correction. You have your whole body weight on me. Now this next list, which is basically handling things that you should socialize your dog with. For example, like checking into their mouth. Like you should be able to lift their lips up or open their mouth, basically to make sure that everything's good in there. That's also prepping them for like a vet appointment. The same thing goes with like checking in their ears or touching their paws, touching all of their legs, like basically being touched anywhere and everywhere they should be okay with, especially coming from you, but also other people to prep for going for the vet. And now she's usually good with like a lot of like touchy-feely handling stuff, which I have noticed help a lot when she's around kids. Young kids especially don't usually know how to properly like pet or handle dogs or animals because they just think they're so cute, so they touch the face a lot, or they might pull the hair or like pinch and stuff. And I've seen a lot of kids try to do that with Freya, and she might kind of like shake it off a little bit, but she could be reactive to that if she's never been like poked and prodded and pinched by me, and it's kind of something that she's gotten used to now and is better able to be around kids that might not know how to handle a dog correctly, unfortunately. And then the last list are different types of people. So for example, people wearing a hat, people wearing sunglasses, men with beards, having your hood up, person with an umbrella, people from different ethnicities, people in uniforms. So really just taking them out into the world, again, holding them, they don't have to be on the floor, and just letting them see all the different types of people that exist. And the more people that want to like pet your dog and all that kind of stuff, the better. Like I said, I would take her to work with me also for the people socialization, because she would see different customers that want to like pet her and say hi to her because she's a cute puppy, but also my coworkers, they look so different. Some of them have really long hair, some have short hair, they usually wear hats to work. A lot of people have beards, they might have mustaches, they have tattoos, like they wear hoodies, they wear boots, whatever. So she got used to a lot of different people wearing a lot of different things. And it is more important than you think, because I have seen a lot of dogs who don't like people wearing hats. And it sounds odd, but unless you introduce that to them as a good thing and possibly associate it, it might happen. But those are all the checklists that we followed with Freya. We would work on one of these things once a day, and we would kind of do it until she was fine with it. Not that we would do it for 6 hours until she was fine with it, but maybe we would tackle one item for an entire week until she was good, and then the next week we'd move on to the next thing. Like, there's so many things on this list that you can most definitely get through before they're fully vaccinated if you just take like an hour of your day every single day to socialize them with something new around your house, out in the world, different people, different things, places, smells, everything. And I hope this was helpful or gave you some ideas on how to socialize your dog without them being vaccinated, because it is doable and it is important, especially at a young age as like an 8-week-old puppy when you're bringing it home. Let me know down below if you guys have a dog, how old your dog is, what their name is, what kind of dog, because I love getting like pup dates from you guys. I always get pictures of your dogs in my DMs and it's so freaking cute. I love it. So please keep them coming. If you haven't yet already, don't forget to subscribe down below for more training videos, pup date videos, and just future videos from me. I love you guys so much, more than you'll ever know, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!